This recipe for a deep dish sourdough pizza crust is so good, and it's an ultimate healthier take on a classic deep dish pizza. I love creating dupes that give you better nutrition and better ingredients for a healthier you. So let's get into it. This recipe is courtesy of a blogger who goes by the name of Everyday Homemade and was shared to me from a friend in my B&I group. Thanks, Rachel. So what we're doing is we're using up a lot of our sourdough discard. This recipe actually calls for 400 grams of sourdough discard. I love being able to use up that much. And then I'm going to use 300 grams of purified water. And it's best for this water to be kind of warmer than room temperature, about 80 to 90 degrees, because that's going to help wake up your cold discard straight from the fridge and get it to where it's going to start incorporating with the other ingredients and rising into the dough that we want it to become. So this is also a same day recipe, which is really cool. You can mix this up in the morning and do a few stretch and folds and let it rest in proof on the counter and have pizza for dinner. So now I'm adding 500 grams of all-purpose unbleached flour. I get mine organic flour at Costco in the green and white bag. The blogger with the original recipe recommends bread flour. You guys, I don't stock two different kinds of flour. I keep it all-purpose, and it works for me. And then 10 grams of salt, and I'm using sea salt. And then you're just going to mix this all together. It's a high hydration dough, and so it's going to be sticky and gooey and all the things, but get it all mixed together, kind of form a dough ball, and then we're going to keep it covered just like we do all of our sourdough projects so that it doesn't dry out. That's a damp linen towel I'm putting over it. I'm setting a timer for 20 minutes. I come back in after 20 minutes and I start my stretch and folds. I do 4 stretch and folds in one set, and we're going to do between 4 and 6 sets of stretch and folds for the bread dough. And then we're going to let it just rise in proof on the counter, which it becomes really sticky. You can see that again is due to the high hydration. So you're going to want to work with this on a floured surface, add some flour on top, and knead it a few times, but we're going to divide this into 2 pizza crusts. You can make this smaller pizza crust if you want, and I'm going to show you some pan options. I did what the blogger suggested, and that's 2 pizza crusts for this. You're going to knead it a few times, and then you're going to set it aside and let it bench rest for 15 to 20 minutes. If you're not ready to make your pizza at that moment, then you can put it in a container covered and place it in the refrigerator for up to 4 days. Of course, it's going to get more and more sour and tangy as sourdough does, or you can freeze it up to 3 months. Now in this video, I'm showing you a deep dish pizza, but you can make a thin crust pizza. It really depends on the pan that you make it on. I have a large pizza pan that's cast iron. If I wanted to make a thin crust, I could use this one. I'm going to show you right here. If I wanted to make a smaller pizza, I could use this one. If I want to make a personal pizza, I could use this one. I'm actually preheating my largest deep cast iron skillet in the oven to 450 degrees with some avocado oil in it. Now in this video, you'll see I had a little bit of a struggle with getting this into the pan. I rolled it out too thin. Last night I made this again. I did not video it, but I didn't make it as thin as this, and it worked out much better. So my next tip is measure the bottom of your pan and then make your crust that big. When you go to place it into that hot smoking pan, it should just sit right into the bottom of the pan. You want to work your crust up the sides of the pan, and you see I'm struggling with it, and it's kind of folded and all the things. It still was delicious pizza, so go easy on yourself if you are like me and you're struggling with your first couple of times making it. But the goal here is to get it spread out into the pan, up the sides a little bit. Be careful not to burn yourself. I switched to a wooden spoon just to keep from doing that. And then you're going to let this bench rest for 15 minutes. Let it start cooking in the pan before you put your toppings on. Now let's talk about toppings. You can do whatever you want, but I love putting the sliced cheese, the provolone cheese, on the bottom before sauce, because this keeps your crust from getting soggy in the sauce sitting there. So I just kind of pieced that together until the whole bottom was covered. And then I have organic spaghetti sauce from Costco, and I'm spreading that around. And then I had pre-cooked some Italian ground sausage. That's some Parmesan cheese, and I have some pepperoni, and I shredded my own mozzarella and added more Parmesan. I used chopped red onion and chopped orange bell pepper, and when I'm putting the cheese on, I let it get right up against the edge of the skillet because I like that crispy edge. Now into the oven it goes, 450 degrees for 15 to 20 minutes. I like it the full 20 minutes because it's really, really nice and crispy. And don't you love a good seasoned cast iron pan? It should just slide right out. And I did wait 5 minutes before I slid it out onto the cutting board just to let it set up a little bit. Now look at that cheese. Oh my goodness. It is so good, you guys. It holds its shape when you go to take a bite of your pizza. It's not dumping all of your toppings into your plate. It's delicious. You got to try it.